Okay, good morning, everybody. This is take two because the first time it didn't record. Um, so I just wanted to give a little bit of an update on Dog Gate, Trespasser Gate. Um, I found out the guy whose dogs they were and where he lived, but I had not talked to him or confronted him as of the time this happened. Um, I uh, was out driving around and my phone started getting a lot of texts and whatnot for about an hour and a half while I was out driving. Um, and it was actually kind of funny to read these as I was driving down the road. Just see them coming across and reading the little uh, uh, excerpts of previews or whatever you want to call them. But anyway, just to get into it, the first text came across from somebody that I don't know. It says, I'm not sure whose dogs are running around the neighborhood. It's three of them, and they were up here at my house while my wife was out walking our small dogs, and they were aggressive. She had to chase them off and get her dogs back in the house. It shook her up and would appreciate if the owner of the dogs would maintain them. Somebody else came across and said, I've seen the same ones in the woods behind my house. If the dogs don't belong to you, I'm sorry I've included you in this previous text. That was the first person. Then another person says, what did they look like? First person said, two black dogs and a black and brown dog. A fourth person comes across and says, there's a two black and one brownish one a few weeks ago out here in my yard. The first person said, I'd seen them before and they seemed like good dogs to me, but we have really small dogs and they were being aggressive towards them. First off, this is apparently the owner. And the name matches up with who I was told owned the dogs that were running through the property. And I sent a picture of them to uh, another guy I know. And he said, yeah, those are this guy's and this is where he lives. So that's first off, the dog is a puppy. And as far as puppies go, I've never seen him more scared of everything. Now, people's dogs run all over this mountain, so just stop with the witch hunt, okay? I got dogs in my yard all the time. I say nothing. First person said, I usually don't say anything about dogs, and this is not a witch hunt. I have respect for everybody out here and keep my dogs on my property. I don't have a name to this number. Who am I? Who is this son who I'm texting? Then the owner came back and said, I was told by you guys when I got here, people let dogs run free. I said, no, I don't mind. Now my son stays home from school and they get loose and there is a problem for you. Fine, text who you want. It goes both ways. There are two dogs that run free, but no one says anything. Okay. The first person comes back and says, your dog was being aggressive with my dogs on my property, and I'm not okay with that. I'm just going to leave it alone with that. Then the owner says, stop lying. You want to worry about something, worry about all the coyotes we have all over the place and put some effort on that because that's where the real danger. Then the first person did a laughy face emoji, says, just this conversation's just gone off the rails. I didn't mean it to turn out this way. I just wanted to let the dog's owners know that they were aggressive with my small dogs, and your response to this tells me a lot. This is, and he gives his name, who is this? Got it, got it. And I think this is where it starts kind of I wasn't receiving texts in the correct order after this point. Um, be it because of what I was doing or areas I was driving in and out of, that kind of thing. But it says not to step in on this is another person, not step in on this, but this is blank, not blank, just so it's clear. They have similar names. So he just wanted to make sure everybody knew that it wasn't his dogs. And then the owner comes back and says, I don't do pictures. Who are you, by the way? I want to know. And I think this is where, like I said, part of it was with my texts coming across wrong. And at this point, I got to the point where I was finishing up with what I was doing. I had gotten home and I was able to text. So I said, okay, I know I'm late to this, but this is Robert. I own the land just past Blanks, and I've been out in my stand and seen those dogs running through the vast majority of the times I've gone hunting. Last year at this time, I'd see deer just about every time I went out there. The dogs are driven them nocturnal now. Second most recent times I saw the dogs. I left early because they ran through, and the dogs were growling at me as I walked back to the car. I have two kids, and we are planning to move out there next year. So aggressive dogs ain't gonna fly. Just saying. Then another person comes in, and this is the one person out of all this that I know that I've talked to, and he's a real stand up guy. He says, I'm at work right now, and I just saw all these texts. We have a black and white border collie mix with Australian Shepherd. We keep her in the house or in a fenced in lot. If she ever gets out and someone sees her, let me know and I will take care of it. And then later on, same guy, you haven't seen my dog at the bus stop because she has never got out yet. I'm putting it out there in case she does get out. Everybody knows who to be in touch with. That's how you do it. Hey, I keep track of my dogs, but if she happens to get out, let me know and I'll get it taken care of. But the other guy was not cool with that. Like I said, I think also part of this is where texts weren't rolling through correctly for me as far as that goes. Because there's something funny. If so, let me. That's from the owner. Somebody else said, I've seen him around my chicken coop too. The owner then comes back and says, well, you know what it tells me? Any more issues, well, I tell you what it tells me. Any more issues, you know where I live. And he gives his name. I don't roll with this text crap. I don't deal with people like that. Right. That blank at blank, and I have a door. Whatever, man. Keep up the witch hunt. This is all the owner. Uh, thank you, because that's what a good neighbors do. Yes, I see your dog sometimes and pet her at the bus stop. B, I won't make up false stories to get everyone in a hysterical mood. I think that's responding to the stand up guy's response of, hey, if my dog gets out, let me know and I'll take care of it. But I got no problem with any dog where they go or where they go. We do live in the woods. My dogs get out sometimes. My issue comes down to this. If I allow people to falsely claim those puppies are vicious, then what happens to the dog the next time they get out? A person would assume after these claims that the dogs are a danger and shoot. Is that what they want? Sure seems like it. So they make up stories to uh, embellish them to make them so they feel good about it. What they are really doing is setting up the stage for a tragedy. Dogs get out, but to make stuff up to get your point across lead to the death of my dog. I raised these dogs and I've never seen any sign of aggression. They are scared of their own shadow. Now, all that was the owner, and all those came across very late, like 1 o'clock in the morning, that night, Wednesday morning. Um, so I don't know if this is going to take care of the situation. He seems pretty defensive as far as that goes. My dogs can do whatever they want. I don't have to answer to you. Other people's dogs are on my property. The point is if you have animals, don't just let them run around. And the other thing is, anybody that owns a weapon that is somewhat responsible would know the laws and would know you can't just shoot a dog because you heard it was aggressive. It has to be attacking something. Um, and even then, I think you are very, uh, uh, you have to prove the dog was going to do something or was doing something. Basically, the same self defense of a human being on a human being, doing that to a dog, you have to do it. But I don't think anybody would just see the dogs running on their property and shoot them first off. But the answer should be more like the stand up guy that I've talked to, the one guy I know besides the owner of the property that I bought the land off of. Um, when I bought the land, I was introduced to this guy, and the guy I bought the land off of said, have I talked to you about this guy? He's a real stand up guy, real good guy, and he really is. There's one time I got out there and uh, I got real dizzy. My blood sugar dropped, and he ran up to his house, got me some crackers and water, and gave me some crackers and water so I didn't pass out. And I was able to recover, drive home. I was out there by myself, and it all turned out good. But this other guy I've never met, but he seems to be very high on himself. I can do what I want, kind of thing. My dogs can do what they want. I don't know if it'll change what happens with the uh, dogs running on other people's properties. If he is that concerned about his dogs getting shot, he would keep them on his own property. But it didn't seem like that was something he was going to do. I was going to go out tomorrow. I had planned on it before all this went down, but we are getting um, cold weather and snow. We had about an inch last night. I don't know how much we're supposed to have tonight, but it's supposed to start again, and it usually is a little bit worse out there. Um, I suppose I can check one of the cameras tomorrow morning and see what it's doing, but I'm more concerned about the roads. But I wanted to see if, how this would affect it. But then snow decides to roll in, so I don't know if I'm going to be out. But if you would like to see any more updates on Doggate or our hunting videos, my wife and mine's homesteading videos, when we start posting those in the spring and get moved out there, like and subscribe. I appreciate anybody who watched it this far. But just remember, if you would have a problem with it, odds are other people would have a problem with it. So that's, I was trying to weigh in my mind, how do I confront this guy about this? First guy, I think, did a reasonable thing, just said, hey, I just want to let you know this happened. If you guys could, please keep him on your property. And the guy flipped out on everybody over it. So I don't think the owner handled it really the right way, and I'm kind of glad I didn't have to, but we'll see what happens if anything changes. I don't know that it will. I doubt it will, but we will find out. Anyway, like I said, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you would. I've got one more to get to 50 before the new year. I've got about 3 weeks, so if you all would, I'd appreciate it. Have a good one and stay warm.